Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading for the week of August 25th. This week you start with this Sun card. It says your perseverance is rewarded. You have this Key card. It says locked doors can now be open. I like this already here, Aries, so that looks really good, right? Definitely could be opening some locked doors, which has been, I don't know that this has been a little bit of a theme for you, Aries, but kind of. I kind of feel that some of you it's like you're trying to do, open certain doors to the next level, which is, what I talk to you about all the time is that, the next many years of your life are going to be about, taking things to the next level. It's just that simple. So, a lot of you are kind of like opening these locked doors. I do feel like things that, that you're not giving up on are going to be more successful. It's almost I don't want to make this sound like better than it actually is, but it is almost like that things that have been slower to work for you in the past are working better now. It's like I don't really have a good example other than like work, kind of what's popping into my head for that perseverance is rewarded card. It's like maybe normally you get like a certain result for the work that you do. It's like I think you're getting more of a result for the work that you do now. It's like things are coming to you. I don't know that I would say easier. I have to be very careful with my words because if I say the word easy, then people say, leave me comments. I've been in my bed all week, but you said something was going to happen and nothing happened. I'm like, yes, exactly. Believe it or not, you have to get your ass out of bed. But again, so I have to be very careful with my words, but, I do think that you're doing work like the same, but for the same amount of work that you've been doing, you're getting like a better result almost is kind of what's popping into my head. You have the Seven of Swords, the Justice card, and the Ace of Swords. Seven of Swords, some people read as lying, cheating, stealing, which it can be. But Seven of Swords is really a good card. It's a golden card. Golden cards in the tarot are meant to be positive no matter what. And he's stealing these swords from this army in the background here. But what I will say here, Aries, is ignoring all that, like intuitively, the message that I'm getting here is to be careful of like being too close to a problem. And it's like some in the After Tarot, for example, he's about to step into a trap in the After Tarot deck, not this deck, I'm talking about the After Tarot, obviously. And he's about to like step into a trap that's on the ground. And so sometimes I think the Seven of Swords can say that you are too close to an issue. Now, this looks like a pretty good reading for you this week. I definitely like this, but, again, like I said, if you're dealing with any issues or problems, just the only message I'm getting off this card is that maybe if you're dealing with any issues or challenges, just zoom out. That might help you find a better solution. You have the Justice card. Again, I think this has to do with results. That Key card, it says locked doors can now be opened, but really what it's saying to me, again, intuitively, is that, it's like normally, if you put in, let's say you put in 10 hours of work into your career or your business and you earn $100. I'm just making this up off the top of my head. It's like, I feel like now, moving forward, instead of making $100, it's like maybe you make 150. It's like you're getting that, like I feel like there are better results coming in for you, and that's the justice that you're receiving. Now, I do feel like some of you literally could be getting justice, but this is like a separate message. If you're dealing with something legal, you have this and the Ace of Swords, and you also go up to the Chariot, going right here, and so this could be like a future victory that's coming in for you. So again, if you're involved in something legal, that could also be true, but I feel like this is like better results for the same amount of work, and that's really the message that the first row is saying to me. You have the Ace of Swords, so again, a victory. You have two victory cards so far, this and the Chariot. So definitely could be some big wins coming in for you at this time. Feels like you have that card that says your perseverance is being rewarded. The Ace of Swords is above the mountains. Mountains in the tarot require perseverance to overcome. So it's like a lot of you could be overcoming some challenges or difficulties that you have gone through in the past. And, this could be, that could be where the victories are coming from. Again, I think if you haven't given up on something, obviously if that part of the message is for you, you would know what this is because you haven't given up on it yet, right? If there's something you've been working towards that you haven't given up on, I see a lot of success here. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Queen of Swords. Yes, this could be, again, Queen of Swords, she needs clarity. Now, to me, she is getting clarity. She only has clouds halfway up her body. So the whole point of the Queen of Swords is that she's getting clarity for the first time. So again, a lot of you could finally be getting clarity on something that has been confusing with that Seven of Swords, or again, it kind of gives me more of that zooming out feeling where instead of like being right on top of a problem, you're just being a little bit more flexible. Again, I think sometimes if we're too focused on a problem, if we just zoom out, if we let it go, it's not like you're letting it go, but if we just don't make it our focus, I think that's where the answers can kind of, enter into our heads. And so I feel some of you are doing that this week. If you have a problem, if there are any problems, right? Yep, with the Justice card, you have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, I think this is more of a motivated feeling that I get here off this Queen of Wands. Again, it's like, obviously, if you're doing 10 hours work and you're getting 50% more of a result, that's probably going to motivate you to do more work, right? And because it's worth it. It's like, maybe $100 for 10 hours isn't that great, but $150, that's like a little bit better, right? And again, these are I'm sure many of you will say that's still not great, which I totally understand. But, again, I'm just giving you that as a rough example, right? And so, but I do think that it's like something you're working on, and there is a better result. And I think this is going to motivate you to take more action. So I feel very good about this. I kind of feel like the Queen of Wands is just the energy that you're embracing this week. With the Ace of Swords, you have the King of Cups here. You've been getting like King of Cups in your readings. This could be love for those of you that want it. Could be a King of Cups type person. Wouldn't really call this a love reading, but, again, still, I do feel this could be love. I would also say that this could be you feeling emotionally attached to something, and that is definitely popping into my head. Now, I would say this is a positive emotional attachment with that Queen of Wands that's coming in for you. Again, it's like hard to describe, but if you feel like something is right, like an idea, you'll feel very excited. Again, I think we can have a positive emotional attachment to things that we want to create or work on, right? And as long as it's positive, happy feeling, then I feel you should move in that direction, right? You should do the things that feel right. And that's kind of the feeling I get off of this King of Cups. Is, again, kind of a weird reading in the sense that it's like the cards aren't giving me traditional meanings, but they are kind of saying what they mean. And the King of Cups, he is very in touch with his emotions. So it's kind of like saying to me, to you in this reading, Aries, that, you will be, I should say, this week, very in touch with your emotions. And you should trust that. I think that's what the King of Cups is saying. Like, if something feels right, then it probably is. If something feels wrong, then it probably is. And I would trust that. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have the Surrender to the Divine card. Yes, basically what I just said on that King of Cups. You have this new moon eclipse, which says expect a powerful change. We have 2 eclipses next month, one on the 7th in Pisces and one on the 21st in Virgo. So again, we are in an eclipse period of time. Even though we're basically a month before the last one, it doesn't really matter. We can feel eclipses much sooner, over a month before they happen, and we can feel them after they happen as well. I like to remind people that in astrology, technically if you follow your whole birth eclipse thing, your birth eclipse is up to 6 months away from when you were born, right? So, we can feel eclipses much, much sooner than they show up. And I definitely feel this set of eclipses in September is probably one that we are feeling much sooner. But definitely, and again, the other thing I would say is that basically everyone's reading this week has said expect a powerful change. Maybe not exactly, but pretty much, right? You have the 7 of Cups, the 5 of Cups, and the 4 of Pentacles. 7 of Cups is being spoiled for choice, having a lot of options. I do feel like there could be a lot more options coming in for you here, Aries, in life in general. Now, one thing I will say, though, is that the 7 of Cups has been coming up for a lot of people over the past few weeks. And what I kind of feel for the 7 of Cups is that I feel people need to give themselves a variety of options right now. And again, I think this is like a little bit of a minnow pond secret sauce thing that I want all the minnows to understand. Is like, I don't even understand it actually, so I don't know, take it or leave it. But I've been getting this message for like weeks that we need to give ourselves variety, in anything that we're doing. We need to look for as many options as we can. And the universe has like really been kind of like pounding this into my head as a reader. So it seems to be important. It just seems to be one of those things where it's like, it's like, imagine you're turning yourself into a Swiss Army knife. It's like you're turning yourself into someone where if like one way to do something doesn't work, you're able to like flip out a different tool and get something to work a different way, right? And, I think this goes for anything that you're wanting to create. It's like, imagine if all of a sudden YouTube died. It's like, what would I do? It's like, are there other, I could move to, to give myself variety. I could be on YouTube. I could be on Instagram. I mean, I could be on TikTok. I could double down on Rumble or something like that. I could also switch to written content as well, right? It's like, you have to think of all these different options. I think that the universe is trying to make us more flexible or something, but it seems important, so I would, just think about it. You have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is about sadness, regrets, but personally, I kind of like the Five of Cups, because he's sad about something that he no longer enjoys, and all he has to do is turn around and see these two cups, and he'll get this bridge and this castle. So it's like there's a much better option behind him, and that's what he needs to realize. And he just needs to be grateful for what he has. And then on top of that here, Aries, you go up to the Chariot. Chariot, he is leaving the city behind him behind. So he's like leaving the past in the past. And, a lot of you, this could just be saying that you are choosing to move in a new direction. And obviously that looks to be like a good thing for you. You have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, don't be afraid of letting go of things from the past. I also, I feel like you need new goals. Didn't I kind of said this to you, I think, in your last reading. I could be wrong, but in the bonus reading I just did for you, it'll be linked up at the end of this video. It's like I get this feeling of you needing to realize that the universe wants you to have more. This could be as little as 50% more. It's like I think you need to set bigger goals for yourself or something, Aries. And I'm not even a big fan of goals personally, right? I always talk about setting standards. I think it's better to set a standard because standards allow you to be a little bit more flexible. Once you meet a standard, then you can do things to make the standard even bigger, right, from there. But what I would say is that there's something about this, if let's say you're working on a project right now, I think you need to increase the results that you're expecting by 50%. Let's say you're working on a group or something. It's like maybe you're saying, okay, I want to get 20% more, or I want to get 20 people into this group. I think you need to make your goal 30. It's like there's something about that where it's popping into my head. Same thing where if you're asking your boss for a raise, it's like if you're thinking I'm going to go to my boss and ask for $50 an hour, no, I think you need to ask for $75 an hour, right? There's something about a 50% increase. I don't know. It's popping into my head. Hopefully that makes something sense to some of you, but that's what I would do there. And this could be with anything that you're doing. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Ten of Pentacles. This is probably why. Ten of Pentacles is your wildest dreams, Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. Now, I always say this is something that we will work towards forever. We don't just magically get the Ten of Pentacles. This is something that takes a long time, but again, working towards this is always a worthy goal. But again, maybe the reading itself is saying it is time for you to exceed your own expectations here, Aries, but you have to be willing to do it, And so I would. With the Five of Cups, you have the Four of Swords. I would take care of your health. There's something weird going on in the air. I've said this before. Today is August 21st. I would say especially on the starting on the 24th, which is the day before the week starts, basically. I don't know. There's something weird, I would say, about health. Especially South Node Virgo and also Chiron retrograde in Aries, I would definitely say is a little bit, could bring up some stuff. So I've been telling people, pretty much since the last set of readings that, from now until the end of September, I would really make sure that you're taking care of yourself, treating your body right, and all that other stuff. Again, I wouldn't be paranoid about it. It's just saying make sure to do it. Make sure to drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest, all that other stuff, right? I've been really paying, again, not to talk too much about myself here, but even today I slept in till 6 o'clock, if you can believe it. Right now it is 9:15. Normally I am done with my readings by 8, right? I wake up at 4, I get started right away. And, I'm done by 8 at the latest, but I just felt like I needed extra sleep, so I just took it, right? And I would really be paying attention to that right now, for whatever reason. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. I think we're in a time of conviction where, the more we believe in something, the better. And I know that's kind of, obvious as always, but the more you believe you can do something, the better with that card. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, yes, you have this forgive card. We are in an amazing time for forgiveness as well. There's something about that South Node Virgo, North Node Pisces, right? Right now we have South Node transiting in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces. And there's something about that and like forgiveness. I think, I say I think because I don't actually know. I can't prove it, but it's like there's something very karmic about that North Node in Pisces, obviously in South Node in Virgo, and I feel it's just a good time to like release those things from the past, anything from the past. You have this transition card. Definitely could be going through a transition with the Chariot card. You could be leveling up or going from one stage to the next, which seems to be a big theme for you Aries this year. You have the Chariot, the Page of Swords, and the Death card. Again, Chariot is a big victory or big win coming in for you. Chariot, he has to set himself apart, though. He's leaving behind the city behind him, and he's charging forward in a new direction, which I think would be very valuable for you. Again, if you're doing anything new, or if you're moving in a new direction or moving in towards new things in life, I think this would be very good for you. And, definitely something I would think about. You have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords is about charging forward. Page of Swords is about curiosity, is what I meant to say. But I would charge towards your curiosity with that Chariot and the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is my card of learning as you go. And she also has this sunflower here. I'll show you. And the sunflower points towards the sun. But she doesn't really have a good reason for, feeling excited about something or whatever. She just follows her bliss or follows her inner guidance system, like her joy. And, again, I think sometimes she represents needing to learn as you go. And the Page of Swords can be somewhat similar. He needs to look into things he's curious about or learn more about things he's curious about. You have the Death card, definitely a big change. Obviously, you have that card that says expect a powerful change. You have this transition card, the Chariot. You have the Judgment card. These are all very powerful change cards, so there could be a very powerful change. With the Chariot, you have the Hangman, new perspective, Seven of Cups, basically. Seven of Cups can bring us new perspectives. Again, we are opening up to a wide variety of options in life. Hangman is about seeing the options, basically. He has put himself in Hangman mode, and he's gaining enlightenment so he can see all the different ways there are to do things or do something in his life, and that's leading to the most success. So, again, I think staying open to all ways of doing things would be very important here. With the Page of Swords, you have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction, needing to set yourself free. So I feel for a lot of you that the Eight of Swords is saying you need to set yourself free at this time from something that has been keeping you stuck. Again, I also feel we are in a little bit of an intuitive time. I do think you are very intuitive at this time, Aries, but you have to trust it. The Eight of Swords, she has this blindfold on, and so sometimes I think, the blindfolds in the tarot do represent needing to trust your intuition. This can say that maybe you're looking at something, too close to the problem, like we said with that Seven of Swords. It's like if you're all the way focused in on a problem. Imagine if you were standing in front of a wall that was only as big as your face. If you were right up against it, maybe you wouldn't know that all you have to do is step back and then you could see around the wall, right? Because it's only as big as your face, right? And so that's kind of what I'm getting here. It's like, backing up from something might be very helpful, especially if you're dealing with any problems. Yes, with the Death card, you have the Judgment card. Definitely could be getting answers on a powerful change this week, I feel. A lot of Judgment energy this week. Actually, almost every single person had the Tower this week as well, except for you so far. And so a lot of people have had that Tower energy. There could be some global Tower moments, but, this week could really just be a breakthrough week for people, I'm realizing. It's like the Tower is not a bad card. I don't care what anyone says. People always crap their pants about it, but I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. Number one. Number two, the Tower is about coming down to reality. And so, I'm wondering if what's really going on here for people with these cards is maybe that people are, kind of like having breakthroughs, or not really breakthroughs, but it's like, gaining clarity on what to do next in their life. And, that could be coming in for you here, Aries. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this visitor. It says tourist or alien. You have this lizard. It says the unexpected. Yes, I was getting something about travel for you, Aries. Yeah, if you're thinking about traveling or wanting to travel, I think now would be a great time to travel, of course. I think that, again, the whole variety thing with that Seven of Cups, again, when we go and have new experiences, those new experiences can teach us a lot, or we can, see other ways of doing things and, all that other good stuff, basically. And so that's what I would say there. I would be open to any unexpected twists. Again, you have a lot of these cards that kind of represent, unexpected energy a little bit, like locked doors can now be open, expect a powerful change, surrendered to the divine, a little bit unexpected. Chariot, he's heading into the unexpected or the unknown. Queen of Wands, she doesn't know where she's going. She just is following her bliss, basically. And so I don't think this is like unexpected in a clickbait way. I think this is you just kind of, stepping into the unknown. Maybe that's a better way to put it. You have the Six of Wands, Judgment, and the Eight of Pentacles. Six of Wands can definitely be a victory or a big win coming in for you, Aries, so I definitely like to see that. Could be some sort of big win here. Especially if you're working on something. I do feel like there's some sort of a success coming in for you. I think you need to increase something by 50%, though, at least, minimum. Like, really, why? Like, I'm a big fan of increasing things by 1,000%. Be delusional. Neptune and Pisces, right? Neptune is on its way back into Pisces soon. It will be retrograding back in there. And again, Neptune and Pisces says be delusional. But you also have to be realistic at the same time. So multiply it by 1,000, and then if you get 100% better, right? Then good. I always say one of my favorite quotes of all time is Les Brown. He says it's better to aim high and miss than it is to aim low and hit. Meaning maybe you don't get 1,000% better, but if you get 100% better, that's better than 50%, right? Which would be the realistic way to look at it. So again, I think as long as I think it's a good time to dream big, and that's what I would do here. You have the Judgment card again, some sort of wake-up call, or I feel this could be a realization that you're having this week as well. Like maybe you're getting some answers on, where you want to head in life or things that you want to do in your life, and obviously that could be good. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles can represent needing to put the work in. Eight of Pentacles is material success on the horizon. I do feel like any work that you're doing at this time could be leading to some better results in the future. I feel pretty good about this. Like, I feel good about work for you with this and, work that you could be doing. So if you, again, any work that you're doing, I would, increase it by 1,000%, whatever. With the Six of Wands, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, like work hard, play hard. So I would make sure to balance. Again, with the health stuff here, it's a very good reading, Aries. But, again, with the Four of Swords and everything, I would make sure that you're definitely not burning yourself out. Make sure you're balancing your energy. With the Judgment card, you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, Page of Wands is about going on the adventure. We see a lot of adventurous stuff here, Queen of Wands especially, but this is like adventuring into the unknown. The thing is, if you're being called to the unknown with that Judgment card, I would move in that direction. Like maybe you don't know exactly how to do what you want to do with that Page of Wands, or maybe you're not sure what you should do in life in general. And I feel like that Page of Wands is saying you need to follow that your guidance system, right? Your intuition. We have the Eight of Swords right next to it there. So you get what I'm saying? Probably not, but that's what I would do. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Cups. You had tiny little bit of love here. For those of you that want it, I definitely feel that there could be a strong connection that's coming in for you. Maybe, like I say at this time, but I'm wondering, you're not the only sign to kind of get love. And so that kind of tells me that maybe this week just isn't the week for love for most people. But at the same time, whenever this happens, when there's like a tiny bit of love, to me that says maybe you could meet a person, but maybe it just doesn't go anywhere yet. It's like you're just meeting a person or you're becoming aware of a person, right? You have this January card and this Rat card. It says, someone working against you behind your back. Yes, I think you've had something like this with me before. I keep telling people that really I think we have to wait till like March of next year to move past this. But is this a problem? No. It's only a problem if you're just going to focus on it, I think that we have to ignore people who are doing things and talking and saying stuff. The best thing you do is ignore it. Can't make this one up, Aries. You have this flag card. It says, do not be tempted to lower your standards. No, Aries, it is time for you to raise your standards by 1,000%. And again, does that mean you're going to get the 1000x goal? No, probably not. But, if you get 100 or 200% better than what you wanted, I don't think you're going to be upset about that, right? So it's like time to raise your standards. And again, I would be a little bit unrealistic and realistic at the same time. And yes, you can do both things at the same time. People always say to me that you contradicted yourself. How can you do both things at the same time? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not stupid. I don't know. It's pretty freaking easy. I can have the 1000x goal, and I can also understand that realistically I might only get 200% better, right? Or less, or a little bit less. But I also know, like, hey, originally I only wanted 50% better. It's like, I don't know, my brain can do that. And I fell on my head when I was 10, right? I'm a dummy. I went from an A student to like literally a D student overnight and never got better. So that says a lot for the people that don't understand it. But, whatever. There you go. Two things can be true at once. You have this wall card. It says misunderstandings. We still are in the shadow. Well, actually, we're past it tomorrow. Actually, the day this video gets published, August 22nd, is the day that we leave the Mercury retrograde shadow. So, but I don't know. We have some other things going retrograde in your sign, right? Neptune, Saturn, Chiron. Everything in your sign is retrograde, Aries. So, again, if there are misunderstandings, don't worry about it, is what I would say. You have this table card that says hard work ahead. Yes. There's hard work ahead, but again, two things can be true at once, believe it or not. So, Two of Pentacles says, work hard, play hard. You've probably heard the saying, which proves that two things can be true at once for the people that don't understand that. But, again, if you're working hard, you just need to make sure you're playing hard. You'll be fine. You have this broken ring. It says, parting of the ways, either in romance or business. I really feel like this is talking about the future. Mark my words, Aries, you will not be doing the same thing you're doing right now in 5 years, work-wise. Maybe even a little bit less. Now, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to quit either. What that means is that, again, I've been talking to you about you leveling something up. You're probably going to be doing what you're doing right now, but just in a leveled up way. Right? I would start brainstorming on it. I would start thinking about it and planning it and playing around with it and just see where it goes. Again, I think that you could get a little bit ahead of the curve here. This is why I talk about this stuff. This is what I like to preach in astrology and tarot. The whole point of this is, astrology, tarot can't tell you anything to do, right? Or it can't make you do anything. It can't make anything happen for you. But it can get you a little bit ahead of the curve where if you work with the energy, you'll be ahead of everybody else, right? And that is my hope for you, Aries. And, that's what I would say there. But whatever. This looks really good. I like where this is going, Aries. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.